Hello, hello. So, doing a new thing today, and this is the first time that I'm streaming to both Twitch and YouTube. So, uh, yeah, we'll see how that goes. I am, interesting. So, I am going to put um, the link for the movie in the chat. And let's just see how this works here. So I think I can just do it to both like this. And yep, there it is. Perfect. So that went to both. And if you go to that link, you can see the trailer for the film. You can find out more about the film. You can follow my socials and all that. So like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Twitch. I'm trying to get my follower count up enough that maybe I can start monetizing some things here in a little bit. Hopefully I'll be providing some content that is worth something to the people watching. So I'm color grading the film. I'm using Davinci Resolve. Just upgraded to Davinci Resolve 19. And right after I did that, I realized one of the things that I wanted to do, I had switched away from Aces to work in DaVinci Wide Gamut, and I decided, you know what, I think I want to go back to Aces because we're going to be doing some visual effects in After Effects, and I want to be able to bring those back and forth in something that's a standard. I want to learn sort of what the industry standard is, and so I feel like Aces is the way to go. And I was having some trouble getting it back there last night. I waited for hours and hours. The computer never did anything, so I rebooted, and then it did it immediately. So I should have just rebooted, right away. I should have tried that. But anyway, I was able to get some other stuff done while I was waiting on, well, apparently nothing to happen. But anyway, so I've got that all set now. So I'm going to go to my to-do list that I had yesterday, which is right here. And reset to Aces is at the top of my list. I have now reset to Aces. I haven't really made any other changes. So there's going to be some stuff in here that may not look great. I did turn off a lot of the color grading that I had done for these nighttime scenes because I had done those when I was in DaVinci Wide Gamut, and they look pretty good. Or that one shot I was working on was starting to look pretty good there. But when I switched to Aces, it all looked crazy, so it all needs to be redone, which is fine. I'm fine with completely starting over at this point. I just want to get settled into what I'm going to do. I think at this point I've tried enough things. Aces is the way to go. So I've reset to Aces. We'll check that off the list. So now what I want to do is I have everything grouped, and I may want to divide some of those groups into smaller groups. For instance, I have one group that is just exterior day footage, which granted was all shot basically same camera settings and stuff, but it was different locations and different days. Some were cloudy, some was bright sunshine, that sort of thing. So I'll probably want to break those out into the actual days of shooting or something. I may want to break down locations even smaller into like different parts of the scene, or maybe pointing in different directions or something like that. Still sort of figuring out the best way to use groups, but I figured probably best to start big, and then I can divide it up as I get into a group, and if I want to subdivide it out, I can do that pretty easily. So anyway, so that's what I am doing. I've got everything in groups, but I'm getting ready to start balancing, and so the first step is to go to the group pre-clip, and this balance node right here, getting it set the way it needs to be. That's sort of the first task, and that's going to balance everything in that group and get it all pretty close, since it was all pretty much shot the same way. And then I'll go into the group settings and get it all balanced clip by clip, and then I'll go into the group post clip and do my basic grade, and then I go back into the clip and tweak the grade for all the individual clips. So one of the issues that I was having is I've got some stuff that I've shot during the day, and we'll see how long it takes to rebuild these thumbnails here. Speed of this computer is a little debilitating. All right, this is stuff at the church. Let's get into stuff fishing. Here we go. Okay. So I have shots like this that were shot with the ND on, and you can see the colors here look really nice, and everything's very warm, almost like there's a red enhancing filter on it. Stuff looks really good. There's also a polarizer on it, I think, so you're going to be able to see down into the water. The water is going to be a little darker. The sky is going to be a little darker, particularly at the top of the screen. So anyway, everything looks pretty good. And then I have the stuff that I shot with my dad as a fly fisherman, and it looks like this. So it still looks good. This is in a slightly different location, same river but different location. It's a different time of year. So, you know, back here in you know, in this shot, you know, lots of yellow, lots of empty trees. There's a few green things back there. It was kind of a brown green, you know. So I'm dealing with the fact that when we shot this stuff in April or whatever, after the leaves were coming back onto the trees, you know, things are green. I'm going to have to adjust for that, kind of make it look more autumn. But even just looking at, you know, my dad here, who plays Roy in these shots where there's the fly fishing going on, the way the light is on the front and the color of the shadows, you know, it's just not the same. It's much cooler. You don't have that red sort of enhancing filter kind of look. It was clearly much brighter, hard sun that day. The day that we shot these fishing shots, you know, it was some hard sun, but the quality of light doesn't feel quite the same. And so I'm going to really be sort of struggling to get them to match. So Monday, I was watching something on YouTube, and when it was over, I noticed that Colin Kelly's grade school was live. I knew that he did this 1 hour grade school every week, but I didn't know what day or when. So apparently it's Mondays at like noon my time, I guess 1 p.m. Eastern. So, so anyway, that was still on. So I hopped in there, and it was interesting. The stuff he was talking about was very cool. But the thing that I noticed was in the chat, one of the guys in the chat was a friend of mine. I was like, oh wait, I know that guy. And he also does color grading. We met through some editor friends online. He actually lives in India. We haven't met in person, but we've talked a number of times. So and then somebody else was in the chat chatting about some films that they had done involving fly fishing. And I was like, what are the odds of that? You know, so I jump in the chat and I'm like, hey, I did some fly fishing movie stuff. That's actually what I'm working on. That's why I'm watching this video. And he mentioned buying some ND and polarizer to shoot on the river. And I said, yeah, I had this ND also. And when we used it, you know, everything looked really nice, but then there were just times that, you know, we couldn't use it. Like if we had to put it on the stabilizer or put it on the jib, did not have, it was too much weight to use it. So any time that we were using the jib or for whatever reason not using the ND, then I would end up with stuff that, you know, looks like this shot of my dad here, which looks good. Sorry, I see that I'm getting lots of dropouts, and you know, nothing I can do about that. I apologize. But anyway, so my friend in the chat said, hey, if you still have the camera and the ND, just go shoot a gray card with and without it, and then you'll know exactly what that ND is bringing to the table, you know. And I was like, oh, I did that already. We shot color charts, like at the head of every reel, you know. And so that's on my to-do list for today, is to set up a timeline of color charts for balancing. So I don't want to bring my color charts into this timeline. I don't think. Maybe if I put them like at the end of the movie or something and then go delete them or whatever. But I think what I can do is just pick a different timeline and save grades out in my gallery, and then come back to this timeline and just paste the grades in. I think that's probably the way to do that. So that's next step on our list. That's what we're going to do, is we're going to go find all the times that I used a color chart, and we're going to build a timeline and try and make some sense out of it. So I'm going to go all the way back to my media page. So we're going sort of all the way back to the first step here. Media page. There we go. And I've got a folder of timelines here. And this looks like basically it's dailies timelines. yeah, this is all basically dailies. So I could open each one of those and like copy and paste clips. I guess I could do that, but I need to start a new timeline. So um, and I want it kind of based off my Pixelock timeline, I guess. But I think that's the way my project settings are set. So Shift 9, and yeah, my project settings, timeline format, everything is set to the way I'm doing the finished film. So I think I can just start a new timeline. So I'll just do. Let's make a new timeline somehow. Somehow. Timeline. No, not that way. Maybe in here. Right click on this. No. Oh, there we go. Create new timeline using selected bin. Create new. That's the thing, though. I don't want it to. I just want a timeline. I don't want anything in it. I just want it empty. How do you just make an empty timeline? I think that would be. Seems like that would be the most reasonable, easy thing in the world. But I guess not. So what I'm going to do then instead is I'm going to go to Principal Photography. I'm just going to go to the first day, and I'm going to see if there's any color charts anywhere at all. And this brings back some memories. That's literally the very first thing we shot. That's a pretty shot too, but anyway, no. Is there a drop? I think there's a drop frame in there. Yeah. So our first dialogue scene we recorded. This looks so good. And I would love to have used this shot as the end of the scene. But this was the very first thing that we did, and she wasn't wearing her backpack. She didn't know that she was supposed to have it on, and so we had to reshoot it with the backpack. And by then, the sunlight was gone. But anyway, it was fine. It was totally fine. Yeah, here's us redoing that shot with the backpack compared to. And see, this is with the ND. See how good that looks with the ND versus what it looks like without the ND. That's upsetting. Anyway, lessons learned, you know. Okay, so I don't see any color charts here. I would think that we had shot those. But again, I'm also looking at the way I've like imported stuff here. So maybe I haven't. Maybe I've got stuff that I didn't import or something. I got some test timeline here. I got some old timelines down here. I got some trouble clips. I've got some XML imports. These are clips I was having trouble bringing in for some reason. Reference. Is this... oh, that's just a reference movie for the picture lock. Audio, pixel lock clips. Because I know that we shot... Oh, there we go. There's a color chart. It's not huge, but at least we shot it there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll select this clip, I'll right-click, and create new timeline using selected clips. Okay. And start time code 1 hour, that's fine. Timeline name, we'll call it color charts. And use project settings, yeah, and we'll create. Okay, and that'll put the timeline right here in this folder, which is not where we want it. So I'm just going to move it into the timelines folder. Okay, so now then, we've got this, if I go to the edit page, now I've got this color charts project That is open. And so now, I guess this is just all color chart. Yeah. So now I can shrink that down, go to the end of the timeline there, and now I can close the effects panel and bring up the media pool. And let's make that smaller and this bigger here. There we go. And let's put this on tiles, and let's make them. Can we make them bigger? Oh yes, there we go. Okay. And I don't need to see audio, so it looks like we can. Maybe filter by some kind of. Oh yeah, here we go. Filter. Yeah, so A0, and we're filtering by name. That way I'll get just my Blackmagic Raw clips in there. And so there's the color chart. Here's another color chart. So I'm sure there's a very easy keyboard shortcut to throw this into the timeline. And so let's see if we can find what that is. Insert is F9. Append to end of timeline. Shift F12. Shift F12. How about shift function F12? There we go. Okay. You know, in Final Cut, it's like E. You just hit one letter, and, you know. But we're not in Final Cut, I guess. Okay, so we've got some color charts there. Yeah, I shot these and didn't really like them. They're just too close, too wide. There's our friend Evangeline. She just got married. Congratulations, Evangeline. Hopefully she'll be able to come down for the premiere in the spring. That would be nice. Did I just see another color chart? Oh, I did, because it's got that selected there. Okay, so I think that's it. I don't think we did any other color charts after that. And this was a shot that I just got because I wanted a time lapse. It's like a 30-minute shot of it getting dark. All right, so let me back up, and we decided there weren't any color charts through any of this. Man, I can't believe day one we didn't shoot any color charts. It's so funny to see her with her glasses on. Yeah, no color charts. Okay, moving on to the next one. Look at there. There's a color chart. And there's one next to it that also has a color chart in the light and in the shade. I didn't really do the color charts correctly, and I know that. But it's what I got. It's what I have. And so now here's some stuff that this does not have because we're on the jib. This does not have the ND on it, and yet, I keep seeing that up there because it's still selected. I keep thinking it's what we're doing. And I didn't take any color charts without the ND. Oh, I guess that's that there. Oh, there we go. There's a color chart. I'm wondering if I should probably put a text element or something here, like what scene it is. Can I open the media pool and the effects? The answer to that is no. But once I get a text element down there, I can just copy it over, right? So we're just gonna do this, and I'm gonna find in media pool. There we go. And we're going to call this, I want to see which driving scene this is. I think this is the first one, the first driving scene. I mean, this is riveting. Okay, she's obviously talking. Oh, we're getting camera audio. Which is why we can't hear them. Because the camera's sitting on the hood of the truck. All right. I guess this is all the truck stuff, so I guess that doesn't really need a title. This is... Oh, I can tell what scene that is from that rock, so I don't need a title on that. I mean, again, I know exactly where that is, so I don't need a title for that. So let's just keep moving on. Let's just keep moving, as it were. Hey, here is... Did I miss this stuff a minute ago? Oh, I did. I didn't scroll all the way up to the top. Look, here it is, what I need. I knew I did this. In the sunlight, in the shade, in the sunlight with no ND, in the shade with no ND. These are going to be my most critical ones right here. And you're not getting the keyboard shortcuts, so let's do that. Okay. All right, so let's put that right there. And actually, let's do this. Let me undo that. Keycaster is not running. Let's see. Let's set a duration for this. Oh, posh. Hang on. Get this running on the correct screen here. Is there a duration? Oh my gosh, I feel just so handicapped here. I can do this so quickly in Final Cut. Where's the clip duration? How do I change the duration of this clip? Oh, change clip duration. Command D. There it is. Okay. So it's a 7-second clip. We're going to make it a 5-second clip. Perfect. And it looks like text is 5 seconds also. And actually all of these, Command D, we're going to make those 5 seconds as well. And I don't know why it doesn't ripple all that, but anyway, it does not. Okay, so now I'm going to go into this basic title and color chart in sun. So I would have taken a reading in the sun and then set my iris to that reading because I had my light meter. So that should be at exposure with ND. Color chart in sun. Okay. I don't need color chart. It's obviously a color chart. In sun at exposure with ND. Okay, and I bet there's a tool over here that I can, all right, not that one. It's not like a title. Is it Fusion? No. There's not a man. Why do people like this program? This is awful. Turn that off. I don't want that. I want to just move this position over there and go up. Other way. Of course. Obviously, you pull down to make it go up. Obviously. Oh. No, you go left and right to make it go up and down. Okay. In sun at exposure with ND. Now I'm going to duplicate that. And now we're going to change this one. And this is going to be in shade. Underexposed with ND. To go even higher. Okay. There we go. Oh, that little drop shadow helps a lot. Okay, so I'm actually going to delete that and rather than changing all those settings, I'll just change this text. In sun, at exposure with ND, and then in shade underexposed with ND. And now I'm just going to move both of these down here, and this is going to be no ND, but that looks overexposed to me, right? Doesn't that look overexposed to you? Don't these four all kind of look white? Overexposed? No ND. And this one is in shade, underexposed, no ND. So I got in sun at exposure with ND, in sun, in shade, underexposed with ND, in sun, overexposed, no ND, and this should say in shade, it does, underexposed, no ND. Okay, those are the four most useful color charts so far. Okay, let's keep going. Let me just make sure I scrolled all the way up on all of these. Yeah. All right, got those. Got a color chart there. Let's see if there's any other color charts down through here. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Nighttime shoot. Some slates here. I don't see any color charts. We should have shot some color charts, but we didn't, looks like. Which is unfortunate that we did not do that. All right, here is a color chart that is, I mean, useless because it's in the deep blue lighting that we're filming in. But I'll put it in there anyway. I think probably what I need to do is take this and cut and go home and paste. No. Insert edit. Insert F9. Oh, but not that clip. Paste insert. There we go. Shift Command V. All right, there we go. I guess Shift Command X probably would have been a ripple cut, I guess. Who knows? Who knows? I am curious if YouTube Studio and Twitch can be open at the same time. Okay. So I want to have this open. And I want this to be over here. No, that's not going to do that. No, not going to do it. Okay. No problem. Split view not supported. Bummer. Is there? Oh, there's a Restream app, I think, maybe. Which apparently I don't have on here, so we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that. Restream. Search. No. Interesting. All right, just stay on the Twitch app then. All right, let's see if we got any other color charts out here, like any that we did during the daytime. Once again, doesn't look like it. Next day, scroll all the way up to the top. There is a color chart. Here is a color chart. No, function. Shift F12. There we go. Okay. And I don't know. I guess that's without ND. Looks like it. No other color charts. Okay, next day. It says the van pulling up. And I don't see any color charts. Next day, oh, here's a color chart. This is driving stuff. That's not useless. Here's some color charts. Here it is inside the tent. And here it is outside in the overcast sky. And it doesn't look like we shot any more color charts as things got darker. Here is, hey, there's Caitlin. Come back. Hi, Caitlin. Doesn't look like we shot any color charts in here. Doesn't look like we did any here. Man, a color chart in this place would have been super helpful. It's really bad of me to not do that. Here is a color chart in the store. Luckily, I don't have to label most of these. I can very quickly tell, what they are just from the background. No other color charts here. We didn't do any color charts outside, I take it. Okay, next day. That looks like a color chart in the shade and in the sun. So I didn't really do these properly. And I don't know how I did them because this was 5 years ago, so I don't remember what I was doing, but it's clearly, like this one is clearly not at exposure, So I don't know. Oh, there's one where we try to get it in the sun. That's gonna be useless. Yeah. So these are in the house. I'll drop them in the timeline anyway, but they're not going to be really usable. Did we do any others? I don't see any others, not even in the, we went to the nighttime stuff. All right, here's one for the day that we filmed Mrs. Hittlemeyer. Except this is only useful for this one insert shot in the bedroom. Man, it was total bummer not using this more properly. Honestly, I think most of the time I was clearly not using it anyway because I forgot that I even had them. So I guess it's not that important, but like, and I have the real thing that I need, which is what's the difference in the ND? It's the difference between that and that, But we got some drone stuff. That's not going to have any raw things in it. We can come back to that. Here's some more color chart stuff. This is, hey, it's my dad. It's my mom and dad. I don't know what mom was doing. She's picking up flowers or trash or something. So that is dad in the sun. And then that's the color chart in the shade there. And again, it looks like, I can't tell if the ND is on it there because it's so cool blue where we are. But then I look at stuff like this and it's like, oh man, this is a beautiful shot. Like how is this not in the movie? That is so nice looking. Guess there just wasn't a place for it, I think a lot of it was I was trying to find where there was like like leaves in the, you know. But like I ended up using, I guess it was this one. So I might ditch this shot where we come down through the trees. I think it's that one where it comes down the river. Might replace it with one of these here. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, there's just some beautiful stuff up there. Look at this. It's pretty. This was like one of the prettiest shots that we got all day. This is where I wanted to shoot the whole movie. Was in this kind of place, but alas. Perfect. More color chart stuff the day of. The pickups, which the pickups I'm having a hard time with all the color matching, and now I've got a color chart that'll help me balance it correctly, so that's good. Looks like we got a color chart at the end of this day. Oh, look like one of these color chart files is super teeny down here. So Command delete is a ripple delete. No, delete this way. Ah, interesting. There's like a backspace and a delete. They both just say delete on my keyboard because it's not an Apple keyboard. It's just a generic Bluetooth Amazon buy. But yeah, interesting. Okay, I think I'm also going to select everything here and make it 5 seconds. Hang on, I'm going to undo that. I'm going to change this 5 seconds, and it's not going to ripple it, huh? Tell you, man, I love Final Cut. Who would want that? Who would want all these gaps? Who would want all these gaps versus who would want these gaps removed doing an operation like that? And who wants to pop back to a timeline where there is nothing when I'm trying to work right here? Premiere must be really bad if people are switching to Resolve. Because, granted, I've not used it enough to like know what I'm doing here yet, but like, good gravy, this is super frustrating. Okay, and we got one more day here. Look at there. A color chart on our driving day. Put that on there. Let's see what we got here. Some more reshoot stuff. Didn't do a color chart. Didn't even think about it. Didn't bother. Is that Caitlin in the water? Oh, it's Carrie. That's a neat little shot there. Forgot we started, we start the shots above water before we go. A lot of dental floss there. I mean, like, I have so few memories of even shooting this. Like, you'd think that I would remember being in the water, shooting this underwater stuff, and I honestly, I just remember it very little. All right, so now I'm going to go back to these drone things here and see if we have any color charts on the drones. Hey, there's one, and there's one, and there's one. I'm not sure that any of those are usable. Oh, well, actually, one thing I need to do probably is select these and right click and choose ACES Input Transform. And it would be, okay, there is no DJI. I think these are all just Rec 709. Boom. Perfect. Now they look totally normal. Yeah, that's more how they're supposed to look. Yep, yep, yep. Perfect. Got another set of drone footage here. I don't see any color charts in this, but I just do need to do the ACES Input Transform. Huh. Are none of these used in the movie? This one's used, I think. Why is there no... Oh, I've got a... there's a timeline selected here. There we go. ACES Input Transform Inverse Display Rec 709. And now these should display correctly. Yeah, they do. All right, no color charts here. That's okay. Okay. All right, so I think that what I have done now is I have correctly done the input transforms and all the drone stuff. I've gotten every color chart that I shot, which was not nearly enough. I have learned that I don't think that I want to use Resolve to edit anything just yet. Excellent. Okay. So everything is coming to Rec 709, and starting here, these, and so I should probably put a Rec 709 title. So I'm going to go to Effects, and I'm going to get my basic text again, and wish that my Wacom tablet worked like an actual trackpad. And we will change the title here to say Rec 709, and then we will move it down. Okay, and then I will take this across all three of these clips. Let's go, maybe I need to go up and to the left. I'll go up in the left corner. So I'm going to get my drop shadow at like a 7 and a -10 and a blur of 10. Okay. Wait, what just happened? 7, -10. There we go. And I'm going to move it way over this way. A little more. And then I'm going to move it way up. Okay, so now when I look at those, I know those are Rec 709 footage. Or everything else I can tell what it is from the background. I can tell the location and all that. So it should provide a bit of usefulness. We will see. I'm going to have to leave here in just a few minutes for my second yoga class of the day, but I'll come back in the evening. I mainly wanted to go ahead and jump on, and I knew I could get like a little bit done. Go ahead and save my project. So now when I switch back to my Pixlock, okay, and I will Shift Z and I will Option X so we don't have any in and out points set. There we go. And I go to color, go to the color page here. Right here. So here's a shot that I want to balance. And so I have a balance and I have an ND fix node where I've sort of guessed at what the ND is supposed to look like. And I'm trying to add that back into the color. Except I don't see it changing. Maybe I'm not giving it enough time. This says stuff has been done in the HDR wheel, but I don't... Oh, and I didn't know there were other wheels here. Black, dark, shadow, specular. Well, I did not even... Now I know about that. So let me turn the grain off. I feel like that's something that I would see. No. I feel like is this doing anything? Let me go to a new frame. What's happening? I'm only going to be here for another few minutes, but I am working on learning Resolve and trying not to get frustrated with my computer. Just doesn't appear to be doing anything. But I've just made a project full of all of my color charts so I can begin balancing all of this stuff. There we go. Now we got something moving here. Okay, so now then, let me turn this node off of the ND fix and just see how the colors change. Kind of did the ND fix by eye, and so now I'll be getting to a point where I'll be able to do it more mathematically. Did it just turn off? I missed it. This looks the same to me. Also, it says there's stuff going on in the HDR wheels down here, but I don't see anything. I don't see that anything is. Oh, the color temperature is different. I think that's the only difference. Turn it back on. I'm not really sure why it's taking so long to process everything. That's sort of frustrating. All right, so now what I ought to be able to do is go to, let's see here, go to my color charts list here, and then find the color chart from that day. And that would be down here towards the end of the line, and it was this one here. This was like at the end of the day, so it still had the camera settings. I've got only this one node here, so I'm going to go to this color chart here. I'm going to pick which one I'm using. It is the Passport Video, I think. No. Oh, here, it's this one. It's the Color Checker Legacy. Okay. And so now then I'm going to change my tool to the color chart tool. And now I'm going to get this like close to the corners here. Used to do just kind of like a corner pin kind of thing, and it just modifies the shape inside it. The goal is to get all the squares inside, not have any shadow, be nice, nice and smooth representation of all the colors. Sorry, I know that I'm having dropouts with the transmission. I will work on that if it's something that I can change. All right, so now that is lined up. The source gamma is Blackmagic Design 6K Film Gen 4. And the target gamma is ACES CCT. The target color space is ACES. Now, see, I don't know whether to choose AP0 or AP1. I think, because here's the thing. When you use ACES, so there's AP0, which encompasses pretty much all visible light and then some. But then it shrinks it down to AP1, which is a little smaller color space, still much bigger than Rec 709 or whatever, but it's a little smaller so that you can work with it for color grading. And then it breaks it back out to AP0 to do like final calculations and stuff. So I'm just going to leave that on auto. Maybe I should leave target gamma on auto too, just to see. Color temp, I'm not going to change. It's probably pretty close anyway. Actually, let's go to the raw settings and just see. The raw settings say the color temperature was 6,000. So let's set the color temperature at 6,000. Okay. And then we're going to hit match. Okay. That is, yeah, awful. That's not good. That's not good at all. So, let's reset that. And the source gamma, the source that it is coming in is Blackmagic Design. Let me just leave the source gamma on auto. Just leave everything on auto and see what it does. So let's try this again. And then I'm going to have to go to my class here pretty soon. Son of a gun. Are you kidding me? So let's try that and hit match. Okay, much better result. Much better result, right? Okay. And obviously it did a lot to the luminance and everything, right? Because it was, I'm going to name this node here. I'm going to name it fish PU. It's for pickups, fishing pickups, and that's probably fine. Fish PU. Fish PU. And now I'm going to make a new gallery over here. Sorry, my family group text is blowing up. I'm going to add a still album, and we're going to call it, instead of stills, we're going to call it color chart correctors. And so with that as the highlighted gallery, I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to hit grab still. And there it is. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my picture lock timeline. We are back in this shot here. As soon as it loads. There we go. Okay. I am going to add a node at the end, and I'm going to turn off this ND fix node. And then we'll just clean those up. There we go. So there's nothing going on with this node, but that's what I want to do this corrector here for. So I'm going to right click on this, and I am going to display the node graph, and I'm going to copy this node onto here. And then close this. And so that's getting everything that's in this particular group. It's giving everything in this particular group that fix. Okay, so because it did the luminance values also, I mean that's understandable. So that's fine. So I'm just going to go to the raw settings for this clip, and what if I take the exposure down to like -2? Or I could just change the ISO. Could do that also. Yeah, that's getting towards something. But let me set the ISO to 100 first. All right, and then this is too much, so I'm going to zero this back out, and then find the correct exposure. Actually, that's pretty good right there, right? Not bad. It's going to look similar to the rest of our footage. In fact, I might even take it up a half stop. It's so hard because all the other stuff is in such bright sunlight and is so contrasty. And this particular day, it was overcast, and there just wasn't anything that really we could do about it. That was the day that I had with my dad to do this shot. And we'll put it at 6,000 color temperature. Okay. So I'm going to turn this off and turn it back on. All right, so that should be balanced in some kind of way. Now, the one thing that it's not doing is it's not putting the ND, on anything. So I still have to do that. So let's go back to our color charts, because what I want to do is I want to take this shot here and this shot here and get them to match. I mean, you can just tell looking at Noah's shirt, it's purpley looking here, and it's not there. This was the true color of his shirt. These are true colors, as you can see, but they're just kind of blue, greeny looking. And this is nice and warm, but there's like a red. It's almost like a magenta tint to everything, which I can correct out a little bit, but I like the warmth that it brings, especially to skin tones. Like I said, it's got like a red, like enhancing filter, warming filter. So, okay, so how do I do this? So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to balance with the color chart. So I'm going to name this node and call it chart balance. And we'll bring up our color chart tool. And to do it this way, I guess. My alarm telling me that I need to leave soon. Actually, I need to do it the other way, don't I? This is that corner. This is this corner. This is this corner. I wonder if it even matters. Maybe it can tell. So this is in full sunlight, but it should be at exposure. Where like the last one we did clearly was underexposed. It was in the shade. This should be at exposure. We're filming at 7,000 color temperature. Okay, interesting. So we'll go here. We'll change the color temp to 7,000. Leave everything else on auto, and we'll hit match. Boom, there it is. Okay, so here's the thing though. I want to do the opposite of what I just did. I want to be able to apply the reverse idea of this to my clips. How do I do that? So I'm going to, can I option drag this node? Yep, and make option drag. Well, I guess there has to be another node for it to be, okay. And then option drag this node onto there. There we go. Right, so now there's two of them. So what I wonder is there a way, how do I invert what this node is doing? Is there a way to do that? Composite mode, like composite mode invert or something? Subtract. exclusion, but divide. Difference. No, that's not right. It's not the composite mode that I want anyway. What I want it to do is I want it to be inverted. Color space. A LUT. Invert color. And put another LUT after it. Invert. And this one also, we will invert the color on this one. Okay. So if I turn those off, no, it's still applying an extra measure of the same change. Like I want that. I want it to stay like that. Okay, the other thing I can do is turn this off and grab a still of this, and then I can go here. Okay, let's turn this off, and I can put it in the wipe mode here, and I'll do, I guess, up and down. All right, let me get a color correct chart. A chart correction node here. So what I call it, chart balance. Let's just go ahead and do that, I guess. All right. And again, we'll look at our raw settings here. Color temperature 7,000. Okay, and match. Ooh, brought that exposure down, didn't it? Okay. If I'd done these things at the proper exposure, so let me reset applied match. Okay, so this is still, oh, that's still, okay, so the chart is still up there. What I want to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to decode this using clip settings, and I'm going to set this at 100. 200. Highlight recovery. feel like that's a better, more properly exposed image. I'm not sure which one of these is supposed to be 18% gray. I'm guessing these are supposed to be close to it. So let me get my qualifier again and just sort of float over these and just see, like, where are they? I wonder if I can set this to percentage. Show reference levels. I don't know what that means. Vector scope. Well, there's some points out there. Yeah, these are all going to be right in the middle. White is going to be in the center, of course. Interesting. It's in his arm there. These are all kind of right in there. Oh, he showed yesterday how to do an 18% gray checker. I have to add that to my list. So I've set up this timeline. I think we can, but before this, let's Colin Kelly's 18% gray checker, how to do that, and then how to figure the difference in the ND and apply it. That's what I got to learn. So we're going to have to leave it there for right now. To be continued, but we made some big progress in just an hour, and I don't mind not answering the question as long as we get to better questions, which I feel like we've done. I feel like better questions, that's where we're at now. So I'm going to head to my yoga class. I'm going to come back this evening and work on this some more, like after dinner, and see if I can figure out, oh, here is the node that is the difference between using the ND and not using the ND. And we'll see if we can get that difference straight. So until then, Godspeed and keep moving.